Bobbi Lane. I'm a photographer, mainly a portrait photographer, and a photo educator. I teach a couple classes at BPSOP. One of them is called Portraits Unplugged, which is all natural light, and the other one is Posing and Directing, headshot, three-quarter, full length. I really love photography. It has been my whole life, and I really love helping people learn how to get some techniques that will help them make better images. So I'm looking forward to looking at these pictures. I think it's a great set of pictures for the end of the year, and I'm happy to show them to you. So this first one is by Manny Roman. I love the name of this, Another Day at the Office. It was taken at a busy market in Vietnam. Nikon D810 and a Tamron 15-30. I think there's a lot of excellent choices that were made in this, just right off the bat. First off, the wide angle, I think, is the appropriate choice here because it does pull in a lot of the background just to give you a little bit of information without overwhelming you. But part of the reason for that is because of the quality of light here. There's beautiful light that's on her face. You can see this gorgeous light that's coming on her face. It's just a little bit of shadowing, and all of this is lit up with this little bit of line of light, which makes a great diagonal. But since the background is in shade, she's really popping out. But this is really wonderfully done. These diagonal lines, the red chairs that are pulling back into her, and this light line of light that comes in with the roundness here. It's really beautifully composed. It's a great moment. It's a very rich picture. There's so many layers in this that I can really look at this for a long time. I like her expression. She's like a little startled. She's in the middle of doing something, but she's looking at you. Not mean, but I think it's a terrific shot. Many layers. Very well done. Congratulations, Manny. I think that this is terrific. Okay, the next one is called The Family Reunion, and it's by Yatow. I hope that I said that properly. Shot with a D4, Nikon D4 with a 24-120 lens. The focal length, she said, was set about 98 at ISO 400 and 80th of a second at 4.5. So this is all natural light. Nice to find the shade in here. But let's talk about just the moment. This is really a fun time to be able to pull these kids in, you know, just playing, capturing this moment of summer, of being silly and funny. I think it's a really cute shot. The lighting, I think, is pretty good, and I actually kind of like the border treatment that she's done here. I think that works pretty well as well. Anne did say that she normally shoots landscapes, and so she likes to do the HDR. So the HDR that she's done on this picture, for me, it's a little overdone. I'm not big HDR on people unless you're doing like some kind of a sports action thing like Joel Grimes. But I think for a fun picture like this, she didn't do it too much. You know, I think it's not overdone, so I'm okay with it. This might work better as a square, so just out of curiosity, let's just go ahead and put that. Oh, there it is. It's got the square there already. Just kind of move this around a little bit, and let's take a look at that. So, yep, I think that, and of course, we lose the edge treatment, but, you know, that can always be redone. I don't think we really needed to have all the other information that was in there. It's all about their relationship, so the edges were just a little bit too much. Overall, I still think it's a pretty successful picture. Okay, so Sitting Pretty. This is by Cindy Wiltsey. I think I'm having a hard time reading it. Wiltsey. This was done for a senior portrait with a Canon 5D Mark III 24-70 2.8 lens. She has one Canon flash on camera and one off camera. I'm not sure where the one off camera is. She said that when she saw this tree, she really wanted to get the girl up here. Now, there's a lot of things, again, I think, going for this picture that work really well. First off, I really want to commend you on your use of your flash, because it's a difficult thing to do, especially when you're at a lower angle like this. I know that you use some kind of modifier. You haven't just got a straight flash, you know, just the bare head flash. The quality of light on this is really well done. Very nicely done, and perfectly balanced with the ambient light that's in the background. She found this lovely little spot of sun that was coming through that gives her a little bit of hair light. I think that works beautifully. You know, she's got a lovely girl too, which helps in the first place. A couple things here that bug me a little bit. You know, I would have probably had her barefoot or in sneakers, because it seems a little odd to me to have these shoes when you're up in a tree. That's a minor point, but it is just something that you want to consider overall. And it's a little bit too much angles on the arms. I think she's kind of like a little bit of a stick figure here. When you have all these strong lines that are in the tree, it's better to have more curves in the body. So I would have probably brought this arm down and just curved it around and let this one relax a little bit more, let the fingers relax a little bit more. It would have made a little bit smoother flow instead of it being quite so angular overall. Beautifully done otherwise. I think really a very, very strong image, very successful, and I'm sure that she's happy with it. I would think that she would be delighted with this picture. Okay, this is Tired Mom Needs a Break by Marian Esposito. They're in a small town in Virginia, and local artists paint wine barrels. So this is her daughter and her granddaughter in the background, and they just decided to take a break and sit down. Now, there's some great stuff going on in here. Wonderful backlighting. So if you look at the way that the light is coming on here and the little bit of light that's coming back here, really nicely done. I think it's very effective in the black and white as well. However, I still think there's a little too much information, and there's a lot of bright areas. You know, your eye is always going to be attracted to the bright area. I'm having a hard time seeing her because I keep getting pulled away by this. So it's a little bit too much information. I always feel that a photograph, you only need to see what you need to see to get the idea across, and the viewer can fill in the rest. We don't have to show everything to make sure that the viewer understands what's happening. So I'm going to go back and do another square crop on this. So I want to move this over just a little bit. I want to get all this light area here just out of the edge of the photo. So if we move that over just about to there, then I'm good. I've got a little bit of the barrel here. I still get the feeling of the barrel. I've got just the hint of the little girl in the background. But now you see how you've got all the emphasis that's there on this woman. She's the predominant person here. This, I think, is really nice in the background as well. So this, I think, works as well, but there's another thing that you can do. If you're not too concerned about the little girl in the background or the barrel, we could bring this in even a little bit more and have the concentration really be on her. We get rid of the barrel, but now you see how the eyes really pop out on that? So there's a couple of different ways you can go on this, but I definitely think that the square is the way to go. So we have one last photo to show you here, and this is called November at Rainbow Falls by Rachel Epstein. F9, 300 millimeter lens at a 60th. Didn't say what camera it was. So I am actually going to turn this over to my guest critiquer, Lee Veris, who is also a teacher at BPSOP, who is a master wizard at anything Adobe, and also my husband and the love of my life. So I'm going to turn this one over to Lee because he's got some really interesting ideas here. Okay, enjoy.
Okay. Well, I like this image, but I feel that the white point and the black point are kind of they're not set. I placed some points here. Let's show you how I got at those. I'm looking for the darkest point in the image and the lightest point in the image. So we use a threshold adjustment layer, and if I move this slider here down to the left, the last thing that sort of winks out here is the darkest thing. And that would be this shadow in the rocks right here. So I placed a point with the fixed sampler, the color sampler tool. We'll do the same thing for the highlight side, and really what we have are little kind of little specular highlights in the water, the little tiny speckles. So I've placed a point over there for a highlight, and now we're going to throw this adjustment away now that I've found the lightest point and the darkest point in the image. So the idea here to really expand the range so that you're covering the full range available to you in the photograph is to set the lightest point to white and the darkest point to black. So we can use a curve to do that, and I can read these points in the info panel up here. So here my first point is the black point, and it says 354. Ideally, we'd like the black point to be neutral, and we'd like the white point to be neutral, and also sort of, in this case, if I want it to be paper white, it's the lightest thing in the image, and it's a little glint of highlight on this ice, it probably should be 255. So I'm going to go ahead and try to make all of these channels 255, and let's see what happens to the image. So I'm going to get the green channel. We'll put that up right to where it just turns to 255, and I'm just ignoring the image at the moment. Let's get the red channel, make that white point really white. We got to put it to 255. Okay, so now the white point's neutralized. Let's go back and neutralize the black point. I'm just going to make everything hit 4. So we'll take the green channel and make that black point hit 4. Okay. And now it's taken out the blue cast, so you may object to that, but it's probably afternoon light hitting this, so that's possibly a good color. However, look how much brighter, it just has so much more life to it because we've filled out the range. We've gone from black to white in the image instead of black to sort of blue-gray. But let's see, maybe we can make this look a little bluer by taking out a little red and a little green. So I can just find some point in the middle of the curve I think would probably work. We'll take out a little red, and we'll take out a little green, and it will be a little bit bluer. But our endpoints are still pretty neutral. So, maybe you prefer something like that to bring back that coolness, but you notice now how suppressed this highlight seems. So, a little work by the numbers really puts some life back into it. Now we can really see the afternoon light, hanging in there, reflecting around this sort of a golden afternoon light, low angle of the light, and it does make sense this way. This way, I think it's just a little too suppressed. But a really nice composition, nice motion in the water. I'm really surprised that you were able to hand hold it at a 60th of a second. That's pretty good. And as you say here, thank goodness for image stabilizer. So very good, Rachel. Thanks a lot.
So we're going to wrap it up. So we're going to wrap it up here and just say we want to wish you a fabulous holiday season. It's a beautiful time to take pictures. Of course, any time is a beautiful time to take pictures. And one of the best things that you could probably do for yourself is to give yourself the present of more classes at BPSOP. So happy holidays and happy new year, and look forward to seeing you next year. All right, thanks. Take care. Bye-bye.